Hey guys, this is, see the thing is, I'm pretty sure it started, but now we can stop it. Hey guys, this is GamerCal. Welcome to another episode of the Pokemon Violet Wonderlocke. This time round, we are going to start with going to Kitsukami because I'm pretty sure Swablu should be good enough to unlock that. It's got a reasonable type matchup against the Pokemon from Carmine and Kieran. And yeah, we are going to get some extra encounters with that. And I mean, it's at the right level, and Stab Swift with the Silk Scarf should be good enough here. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. Anyway, we have our new character over here, Bayer, who is quite an interesting looker, I will say. certainly not light on the eyeshadow, that is for sure. But hey, well, it's cool having different like styles and stuff portrayed within the bit here. But the whole idea of this is that because we're in the school environment in the first place, we're basically going on a school trip here. Bayer has ulterior motives, as you would expect. Nothing too sinister per se, but she wants to go ahead and do stuff with the Terastalization phenomenon, which will not get resolved until very late in, but that is completely fine, because right now it just means we have a whole new region to go even further beyond. And yeah, we get a Pokédex update here as well, which is kind of neat. This happened in Sword Shield as well. We got our separate Pokédex for each of the different regions, and this started in Gen 7 actually, because we had the separate Pokédexes for the different areas, different islands and whatnot. So it's kind of neat to see that like come through here as well. And each of the separate Pokédexes does have their own rewards track as well. The Kitsukami and Blueberry ones are a little bit fast tracked because there's only half as many encounters within them. But like, you do still get extra bonus rewards and stuff for completing those dexes, and yeah, that's kind of cool too. There's extra charms and stuff you can get for. It's not just a shiny charm for completing the regular Pokédex. You get one for increasing the amount of marks, like ribbon type stuff that the wild Pokemon have. And I think the other one was the critical catch charm? I don't remember entirely, actually. I think that might have been a separate reward. But yeah, there's a bunch of different ones that we can get for completing various Pokédexes. But also, you get special Pokeballs and stuff that way too. So it's pretty nice. Anyway, yeah, our random group of NPC characters coming over here. It would have been kind of funny if, like, Nimona, Arvin, Penny, and them were introduced to this place to begin with, but at the same time, that would then imply that you have to beat the main game before you can even start this stuff, and I don't know, that would kind of go against a little bit of what the game is like. I suppose it'd be interesting in a way. Like, you can't do DLC until after you have for sure completed the main game, because this place has a very weird relationship with level scaling as a result of the way that it sort of handles things. I'm going to try and not do that much outside of exploration of this place, because if you wait until after you have effectively cleared the main game, like got all the badges and stuff like that, then the levels go up here to be beyond what post-game would be, and it's like a natural progression curve from the base game to this to Blueberry. So I will do some of it, obviously, because I do want to get the encounters, or at least start getting some encounters in here. But I'm going to try and not fully clear it, because I think the story part here should be done later, if possible. But there are going to be several encounters that will be left on the table as a result, so I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, we're not actually allowed to use Miraidon in this first section, so we do kind of just have to move forward. Bulldoze is a really good, like, early TM to get. There's a lot of very good TMs that we can pick up in this place. That's one of the main reasons to come here early. And as you can see, there's still the odd stutter, but if you've played any of the base game for this, you'll know how terrible this place was for, like, just moving around and stuff. And even this early section was horrific to go up. There was so many frame drops and everything everywhere. It was just, I don't know. It's like walking through custard is the obvious analog for it. So it feels a lot better, and at the very least it is far more playable. That is as much as I could have hoped for, really. I still think it probably could have done better, but at the very least we now don't we can actually play at a reasonable pace, and it makes me at least optimistic for the Legends EA stuff coming out, because if they've managed to do this much with effectively the optimizations they were doing for ZA, I think that game is going to run fine and actually be, you know, respectable. Not necessarily, like, perfect, but respectable. To be fair, very, very few games are perfect nowadays, unfortunately. It is so, like, difficult to find something that runs at a rock solid, like, 60 at all times sort of thing, you know? Anyway, this is Carmine, aka Biggest Jerk in the Universe. I absolutely despise her, but, you know, at least she's got a decent TCG card. Not perfect, to be honest. It doesn't get played very often, but, like, a discard draw 5 supporter that you can use on the very first turn of the game is definitely better than nothing. But, yeah, these two, they're actually kind of difficult for doing in an early game scenario here. So if we didn't have the effort training and stuff here, then it would be a little bit awkward. Now, I could definitely see if somebody was like, "Oh, you shouldn't have EV trading and stuff with this. Like, why are you allowing that sort of bit? This just makes it cheating, right?" But again, I mean, look how much damage we did there. We took there for one. We do have 3 Pokemon to deal with, and one of them is immune to normal, so I guess there is that. But one of the things to note here is that the fact if you can walk basically anywhere in the world, there are very, very few places that you wouldn't be able to go in the early game, and effectively this means that we could just find, oh nice crit, we could just find the items already for doing EV training and stuff at this point. We could find enough items to sell, and then equally we could find the items to like HP ups and stuff like that. It may not be perfect, but you can buy them right from the word go, from the Chansey Supply stuff, and you can buy nature mints as well. You just have to go up like the mountain bit for that, but it is totally possible to do that. So we would be able to EV train anyway. You can avoid all trainer encounters, you can Pokédoll to avoid wild encounters if you run into them. So realistically, this was always a thing. So I don't know, I don't really feel bad for doing it. Anyway, here's Poltergeist, who is Grass and Ghost. So thankfully Peck is super effective. I do have a decent attack stat as well, despite being a modest nature. Like, it's a 30 IV, I think it was in the end. But yeah, it's a ghost type, so we can't use Swift. But that means, because we're a normal type, it also can't use Astonish. It has to use the rather resisted Mega Drain. I'm pretty sure that there's no way it's going to out-damage us here. And yeah, like, it will take longer to win because of that, but even with the crit, I don't think it can deal with us here. Hopefully a crit wouldn't make it, like, heal too much, but yeah. It's level 13 as well, so, like, it's not too far below the level cap for the first gym, but it's definitely not enough to threaten Swablu here. I think if we didn't have something like Swablu, if we had a water type here, we'd be in quite a lot more trouble, and it probably wouldn't have been this place that I'd have gone for first. I would have gone for Katie first. But it's kind of fitting in a way that this actually works within the level cap stuff as well, because we can just do this bit first and then go to Casey for Gym 1. Wowzers, you had a big assist, yeah. So you actually don't have to win this fight in order to proceed with the story. But yeah, it would feel kind of lame to not win these two. So we will, because Kieran is actually quite strong, because his Yama has Air Cutter, which kind of two-shots most things in the early game. But because Swablu's got a good special defense stat, I'm actually feeling pretty good about that fight too. Yama's got a really low special defense stat, so I think Swift should two-shot there. So I reckon we're going to be completely fine at this point. So yeah, not a problem. So we get to go into the community center and get ourselves set up here, which is reasonable enough. And yeah, one more little bit to do, and then once we get interrupted with the Blueberry Academy part is when we'd be able to proceed. I actually don't know if you can do the Lacey fight with only one Pokemon in party though, because it is a double battle, so I'm pretty sure you would have to have a second one. So we would have to get an extra encounter before doing anything there, which is kind of funny. Again, the reason that Lacey is fine to lose to here, apart from she is at like post-game levels anyway, she's level 70 odds. The main reason it's going to be fine is because there are no encounters to get until you can start getting badges in Blueberry. There are no encounters, there are only the items and stuff that you can find. And even then, we still need to do a lot of the main game for that, because climb, the ability to climb is kind of needed for a fair few places. The ability to swim is needed to get a couple bits as well. So, you know, it's not going to be universal at the moment. And we're going to have to buy a lot of Pokédolls to survive that place anyway, because unlike Kitsukami, Blueberry Academy, just like Crown Tundra did this as well actually, there is no level scaling in Blueberry Academy. You will always have like the post-game level bit there, so like your first area starts at over like level 50s to mid 50s to late 60s as far as the wild Pokemon go. So you will still need to use Pokédolls to run away from them. Pokédolls do take a little bit of monetary investment. They're not completely cheap, so yeah, it's totally fine. And it's actually harder to avoid. Pleasure to meet you all you outside. Yeah, so she really does not want us to be in this place. Yeah. Also, one little fun note with the hairstyles and stuff. Carmine's highlights are scarlet and Kieran's a violet. I just thought it was kind of cool. It's not really something I noticed initially, to be honest, until the very end, where Kieran, you know, well, I suppose spoilers, but like Kieran does his hair up and whatnot, and you see the undertones. It's like, oh, you know, I didn't even think about that. It's Scarlet and Violet. Go figure. And of course, Briar's whole outfit is Scarlet and Violet, so it's like, you know, the theming is pretty strong. Pokemon tends to do a very good job with their characters and the theming and whatnot. So, oh, I guess this is sort of low-key the other reason why photos wouldn't count, because we could just go ahead and, you know, take pictures whenever we want. I guess that would be very silly, but, you know, just infinite encounters, why not? Yeah, so we get paired up with one of the exchange students. Well, we're the exchange students here. We get paired up with one of the natives, right? If you want to call it that way. And, yep, go speak to them and be like, oh, yeah, Sanai or whatever, yep. And poor, lonely students get paired up with. Again, Carmine is such an ass. I thought Arvin was mean for the most part with things, but it's like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. What do you tell Arvin? Yeah, again, Carmine is just so mean. Being all shy, he would, no, okay, yeah. Yeah, sure, we'll fight. I mean, this is what it comes down to, right? Yep, Southern Station battle, huh? Wowzers. I don't know. I like Kieran, although his attitude is very interesting as things go on here. But I like Kieran at this stage. He's cool. He's like, yeah, let's fight. He only has 2 Pokemon, which is Sentra and Yanma, and I believe it's level 13 is where he is at as well. So we should be in a reasonable spot, right? Because, yeah, level match 12 and 13, I'm pretty sure. And, yeah, Swift is going to do a big number here. I think its Defense Co rollout would be the only thing to worry about, but with Swift 2-shotting, there's no way that's going to happen. Quick Attack is kind of scary. Maybe I should have put the Aura Berry on here just to make absolute sure. But I don't think Yanma is going to survive 2 hits. I don't think it can 2-shot me. But Air Cutter does have a high crit rate, so maybe I will eat those words. Oh, he's only at level 12. Never mind. He is faster too. This could be scary. Oh, it actually... Oh, with a crit. Okay, crit does 16, so... I suppose if we get crit again, this is... I should have put the Aura Berry on. We would have been safe with that. But yeah, we don't die, so we're fine. That would have been pretty terrifying, to be honest with you, but we do manage to pull through. Yeah, an Aura Berry healing 10 HP there would have made that fight 100% safe. That's what I should have done, but I didn't because I'm a dummy, and, you know, we almost lost because of it. That would have been a highly amusing way to have ended this entire run, right? After doing so much with the first part here, to have just immediately faltered on this would have been very silly. Nearly as strong. I mean, his Yanma beats your... I guess the problem is, like, how does Kieran currently beat the Vulpix? Because Ember... yeah, Ember does do a lot. I forget if the Vulpix has Disable. I don't think it does. So, I'm pretty sure Air Cutter from Yanma probably does too much. I don't think Ember one-shots because Vulpix is not very powerful. So it's like, how does Carmine beat Yanma? Like, Air Cutter is just that powerful that, as you can see, even with my decent special defense, it did far more than anything else. Like, I think the Palmy Thundershot was the only other thing that was close to it, and that was a Terastal Pokemon. Yeah, and once you're done with this basic story intro part, then we get to speak with Clavel, and hi! You know, it's like, oh man, we get to do the second part of the DLC now, huh? Even though we haven't, like, started with a bit. But yeah, we've just heard about Blueberry Academy, so it's a reasonable response here. And yeah, we've just started the Kizukami stuff. We don't need this immediately, but it is completely fine to go back if you want to. And yeah, it's neat. We have the section here, we can prioritize the stuff here, which is what we'll do briefly, because yeah, there's a lot to explore in this place for sure. And one of the things we can do is have new TMs added, so we could make more stuff. But to make TMs, as you will see here, if you want to make TMs, you need the Pokemon materials. So you have to beat wild Pokemon, or do Terra raid battles and stuff, get materials from there. You also need the lead points, but those are obtained by checking the Terra dens, so it's not too bad for that. And well, it's not too bad unless you want like a Fire Blast TM or something, then you need like 14,000 points or whatnot. Kind of silly, but yeah, we could make a bunch of TMs, but the whole point of talking to it here is that we can make all of the TMs that, as you can see with the star symbol here, these ones were introduced in the DLC. Now, we don't know what Pokemon make these because we haven't actually got the materials for them, but if we fight the Pokemon, we gain materials in the wild, then these will gradually unlock. I actually have a written down thing for myself because of having to refarm all of the materials for my main file and whatnot. I actually have written down like all of the useful TMs, like what materials you need for them. So I think at this point I have it fully set up too, but it's where I know what they all are. So it took a bit because actually, as you can imagine, replaying this through, I didn't exactly fight a bunch of wild Pokemon and getting all the different materials and whatnot. So even things like, say, a Sandile Claw, I didn't exactly have that. So yeah, it was a little bit awkward to go ahead and like get those again for stuff here. So it's a I don't like the system, I'll be honest with you, but that is mostly just because I really don't like to I don't like the fact that TMs are single use again. I kind of understand that they want to have some sort of like resourcing in an open world for a bit here, but like I really don't think that TMs were so like when Gen 5 changed TMs to be multi-use, it was such a breath of fresh air because you really wanted to have you know, TMs usable on everything. I mean, for competitive play, it just makes sense, right? But it's so frustrating to go back to a system where we don't have access to TMs like all the time now. We have to farm for the resources for them. It's just irritating, if anything else, you know? And I really do miss, like, even Gen 8's version of it was perfectly fine. By the way, yeah, we just got the matching phone casings, and then now when we go in here, we can, I don't think it's set for it at the moment, but we can go ahead and change it. I think we change it in the, where's it go? We change it in the community center, where we can have it so that the look of the Rotom phone matches where you are. There's one where it matches your phone case as well. That's the other big thing. Anyway, yeah, even this place used to lag horrendously in the original game, so it's nice to see it like actually be, you know, reasonable. Again, maybe it's just such low standards with it. I have, ever since this game came out, I have always railed against the performance of this. I've never really accepted the way that this game ran. I've always thought that it was just bullcrap, and I'm glad that it runs a lot better now, because it actually feels like you can do stuff. Sorry. Gotta stretch. Feels like you can actually like properly play things, and it doesn't, you know, it doesn't feel like you're just playing an obviously unoptimized game. I can put up with a lot of stuff, but a game running poorly is one of the this poorly is one of the things I really just can't stand. Anywho, yeah, long ago there was a fearsome ogre in the land of Kitsukami. The ogre made its home in the mountain behind the village, frightening all who ventured there. One day the ogre came down from the mountain in a terrible rage, causing great fear in the village. By some stroke of luck, Okidogi, Monkey Dory, and Pheasant Dippity all happened to be there as well. How fortunate, huh? The 3 Pokemon laid down their lives to fend off the ogre and send it back to the mountain. Yeah, they're all in the corner over here. In admiration, the people bestowed upon this brave trio the title, the Loyal 3. And if whatever, their remains were given a proper burial, and statues of the 3 were erected above the site. Yep, and that's what's over there. Monument is there. Yeah, I mean, the ogre did seem kind of neat. It took on three whole Pokemon by itself, like 3 things by itself, just completely demolished them, right? That's gotta be cool. Yeah, there you go, battling all by itself. Neat. Yeah, I mean, there must have been a reason why it came down in a rage, right? Never seen the ogre at all, huh? Only scary thing that happened with the grown-ups giving a right earful about it, yep. You mustn't go up the mountain at night time, huh? Yeah, so this is how we get the original bits here. We take a photo of each of these, and these are our encounter bit. As you see, the reason it's counting is because of that jingle. That jingle happens whenever you get a badge in the Paldea region. So it's the same thing here. This is part of the progression objective stuff for this place. And so that is going to count for our stuff here. So we are going to get a second encounter, and I think this might be as far as I take the story stuff at the moment. We can go further, but we will also incur another battle if we do, because Kieran does battle you at the second one of these. And his Pokemon will be a bit stronger, and you mentioned the S word. You mentioned the sandwich. This is Miraidon. It's my ride. Get it? Yep. Never seen one like this either. He certainly does. Like, please give. Insert sandwich here for motorized progression. You're special, huh? Yep. It's on the grounds of the hall. Yep, you go back around and go up the mountainside stuff. We will go ahead and explore a bunch of the places, but it's like, what do you mean there's no sandwich? Back in the bowl, you. So, yeah, we will be exploring a bunch of these places, but again, we won't actually do any more of it here. We just want a second encounter in case disaster strikes at Katie, because Katie's Teddy Ursa is not to be trifled with, and honestly, the other kind of problem point here might actually be like special attack drops from Struggle Bug is the other bit here. Anyway, yeah, here's the monument. I guess it's about as close as we can zoom in on the thing, but you can't even press A and like, you know, have a blurb come up about it. It's kind of sad. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves our next encounter and see what we get from that. Alright, so surprise trade time, where, I mean, I have a few of these Swablu that we can trade from my previous breeding part, so let me just make sure this is not the one that has an item. It is not, so let's trade this one off. And we will find our second encounter. So once again, no hacked Pokemon and no Swablu Altaria, obviously, because we already have that. So let's see what we're working with. So on to, yeah boy, I suppose, is the training name. At least it's not like an obvious one, and it's Squirtle. Alrighty, one of the things you are going to see quite a bit on surprise trades is also starter Pokemon, because a lot of people, of course, will like to trade those over, but that is completely fine so long as it is a legitimate one, which it looks completely fine to me. It's level 15, so that's kind of neat. Hatched in the coastal biome, pretty good. Yeah, this is absolutely fine. It's just been very slightly leveled beforehand. Cool stuff. Also has a singular perfect IV. How nice. So, we will have ourselves a Squirtle bred up. We will go ahead and show off what that looks like. And then we'll probably leave it there for just now. Go ahead and, yeah, get ourselves set up. Alrighty, and after a little bit of deliberation, we now have Kevin the Squirtle. If you know, you know. This guy honestly could have gone either way. I think both his physical and special attack are nearly identical, and his physical move pool is surprisingly good. I think his physical move pool is better before it gets to Blastoise, but Blastoise still retains the same Mega Launcher moves that it had in Gen 6. Stuff like Aura Sphere, Dart Pulse are really useful, and overall it just has exceptional coverage on both ends. But you do get like Earthquake, Rock Slide, and Brick Break, stuff like that as well for the physical spectrum. So genuinely you could go either way. I have gone for special attack here because I think it's going to be more useful for more of the fights early on, but I could easily see doing physical break stuff for dealing with the dark type Star Crew and whatnot. Anyway, that is going to do it for just now. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this has been enjoyable. Next time round we will get our butts kicked by Lacey to enter Blueberry and gather basically everything that I can without Miraidon powers here. There's going to be a lot of good stuff to take a look at, so yeah, until next time.